Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to week 3 of North Carolina Countdown to College. We're very excited about this month and the anticipation of what's to come next week. I'm Amy Ditton, the Associate Outreach Director for the Northeast part of North Carolina. And today's session is all about preparing for and where to go for college application next week. And of course, college application week is the big week that a lot of colleges in our state waive the application fee. So we have two wonderful expert guests with us today. Bree Shepard, who is the CFNC Campus Services Manager with the CFNC Pathways team, which is the University of North Carolina system, and Patti Harris, who's the Director of Gear Up North Carolina, also with the UNC system, to share a lot of insight with you about college application week, about college application, the process you have to go through, where do you go on CFNC, the application hub, and then Patty's going to share some exciting news with you. I'm sure you've already heard about North Carolina College Connect. And so that I don't forget to tell you, let's go ahead and get the information about how you could win a Amazon gift card out there. At the conclusion of the session today, we'll have an opportunity to answer questions. But as a bit of a homework assignment for you to get into the drawing for the Amazon gift card, all you have to do is post a picture of your CFNC college search page, and you could find that in a shortcut at cfnc.org/college search. And that's a great way that you can start the process of finding the colleges that have the best fit for you. You can use all the filters that we have there and narrowing down your options for college and perhaps your options for applying next week. So that's a great place to begin before you go into your applications next week. So once you post that picture of your CFNC college search page on your favorite social media site, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you prefer, also include the hashtag C2C apply. Just make sure no personal information is in your photo. Typically on that page, there should not be any personal information. And again, we randomly draw for a $25 Amazon gift card. So that's easy enough. We certainly want to make sure that you are connecting with CFNC on a continual basis, not just in the month of October. So you're welcome to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. And if you scan this QR code on the screen, you'll be able to sign up for CFNC update emails. It's our newsletters that we send out from occasion on occasion to make sure you're up to date with all that's happening in the state regarding your opportunities of preparing for college. So I'm going to bounce back here. And we're going to kick this off with Bree Shepard to talk about the details of applying to college, and then Patti will follow Bree. Okay? I'm going to stop sharing now, and Bree, you're welcome to share.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. I was on mute, like just a regular somebody. Anywho, I'm excited to be here. My name is Bree Shepard. I'm the CFNC Campus Services Manager. So I work with the colleges who have decided to waive their fees for college application week and try to get as much information as I can for you. Hopefully this will be as smooth as possible, but that's why we're here to learn a little bit more. So give me just a moment. Alrighty. I'm just going to assume that you can see that. And it says start at cfnc.org/C2C. I'm sure you've been to this webpage already since this is week 3. And this is what I'm going to consider the home page for college application week. When you get to that page, you have the middle column with text that talks about residency and things like that. On the left side, there are some links, and on the right side, there are some links. So we're just going to go through a few of those that'll make applying to colleges and doing transcripts a little bit easier this week. So the first thing is knowing who is participating. And that's going to be in the upper left-hand corner. That's colleges participating in CAW, College Application Week. And when you go to that page, you'll see just a regular web page, and you'll scroll down and you'll be able to see who is participating based on the type of student that someone is. So for high school seniors or first year students, there's going to be a certain list for that, and you can look at those colleges. And it's a good idea to check this on the day of, just in case some changes happen, although that's not very likely at this point. If we go back to that homepage, then the next thing I will mention is the technical assistance form. So things happen as we apply to colleges. Sometimes the internet doesn't work, or you might get a blank screen and you don't know why. The application might say it's closed, anything like that. So one of the resources we have is this technical assistance form. And this will get you quick answers. We have people staffed on this tech assistance form. In it, you'll put your name, your school name, your email address. You'll describe the situation. And we do have some check boxes for you to select what kind of problem you're having. So if you can't log in, your email already says that it's being used. You have that white page, you have an error code, submit this form. Notice the hours are Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. College application week lasts until Sunday, the 27th at 11:59 p.m., but our staff will only be able to help until 5 p.m. on Friday. So this is a good chance, a good moment to test some things out early, go into the applications, make sure that you can see everything just fine before it gets to the weekend. If we go back to that home page, the other place to look at in order to get help is the Contact Us. And when you look at the Contact Us, you'll see that there are different folks to call based on which area you need help in. So residency has its own phone number and email address. Financial aid has their own. College application info has their own. And this is the way that you would go to my call center, my CIS agents. I love them so much. And you'll get connected with them. And if it's not something that they can resolve, they escalate it up. And I'm the person who gets the escalation. And this could be any issue that you're having with your application. So if you notice that you keep submitting and it doesn't register as submitted, or there's no application fee waiver on there, anything like that, you can always give us a call or email us, and we'll be happy to help you. Again, we're there till 5 p.m. And now, back on this homepage, you're finally ready. It's time. We're going to go apply for some applications. The application hub is on the right side. It's in that big green box, but you'll also notice that next to application hub, there is a lock. And that means that you need to sign in to CFNC before you can get to the list of applications. So you should already have your CFNC account by now, but if you don't, you can create one by clicking login in the upper right, or if you click application hub, it'll take you to a login screen and you can create an account there. Let's assume you're logging in. You're in the application hub. On the right, start an application. This pop-up of colleges will appear, and you can scroll and search through the colleges, or you can type the name of the campus in the search bar and it'll bring up a reduced list for you. And then you click select application, and there will be a drop down. Some colleges will have only one application in the select application. Some will have multiple. So Brunswick Community College has 3 types of applications. They have the undergraduate, the CCP, and the CIHS. You would be applying for the undergraduate application. So just make sure as you're going through this that you're selecting the correct application for a college application week. Then you'll click apply. And when you go into the application, you're going to see a pop-up, and the pop-up will tell you for colleges that are participating, it'll tell you what the criteria is. So some students or some colleges will waive the fee for everyone, like this college on the right. And as you read it, it says this institution is offering a fee waiver for college application week. It gives you the time and date, and it tells you that when you submit the application, you should not be asked for a fee. All right. Some colleges are only doing it for eligible applicants. So they're setting criteria, and that's like the college on the left. And the eligible applicants will be defined for you. And if there are special steps to take in order to get that fee waiver, those will be listed if the college gave it to us. So I know several students go through the Common App. This would let you know what those steps are in the Common App for that college to get that fee waiver. Once you click close, if it's a college that we link you out to their application and they've told us which application is getting the fee waiver, then you'll be able to click I understand at the bottom and you'll be redirected to that college. If it's a college that you can complete the application already on CFNC, then you'll be able to go ahead and complete that application. You'll go through the steps. Each of the sections, which are on the left, and they have that little circle next to them, those are the sections that need to be completed before you can submit the application. If there's a check mark, that means that that section is completed. All of the sections have to have the check mark before you can submit your application. Then on the last page, where you actually submit, so this is like the final step, if you've given us all the information that we need in order to request your transcript, you'll have a checkbox there that you can click there to request your transcript. So already in the application, check it and then submit application, and both your application and your transcript done in one step. Now, after that, you would go to your application hub. And instead of seeing a blank screen like before, you'll see the application that you just submitted. You'll see the term, the college, and if this had been a submitted app, where it says resume, you would see view. So you can always go back and look at the application you submitted. And if you requested your transcript already, you would see like a status that you can look at for that transcript. This one doesn't have the transcript requested, but I'll show you how to do that. One more thing, if you do apply for a college that we do link you out to that college, come back to cfnc.org, because you still get a school card in the application hub. So you'll notice that this one is for one of the colleges that links out. And instead of having the application and the transcript under tasks, it just has the transcript. So you're still prompted to submit your transcript, and is still a way to make sure that that gets done. You can click request transcript from here, and it'll take you to the request transcript page. Or you can be at the application hub, and instead of clicking start an application, you click request a transcript. When you click that, you're prompted to fill out some of your information. This information has to match what's in the system exactly. So what's in PowerSchool or Infinite Campus exactly, including like uppercase, lowercase, if there's a hyphen or a space in your last names, anything like that. Your NC student number is required. All of these fields are required. And below this, you'll have the list of schools again, just like how you had in the application hub, where you can search for them. You select the application, and then you can request the transcript from there. You can request up to 5 at a time, but after that, you can resubmit a form with a new 5 if you wanted to do that. The other thing to point out about this page is the link that says NC Public High Schools. It's in that first line. Students and graduates of participating NC Public High Schools can use this service. Not every high school participates in this. Most do, but not all. So if you're unable to, if you're getting an error of some sort, or if you're unable to find your high school, then make sure that your high school is on the list by clicking that link. And if it is on the list and you're still having issues, then you can contact us. That's all I got for you, Amy.
Thank you, Bree. And what I was also going to just reiterate, the point that you just made about the public high school. For those of you that may be on the call, if you're attending a private school, just know that you do not have the capability now. We may be in the testing, if not already. Bree, you can help me with that. I may about adding some private schools, but currently this is just designed for North Carolina public high school students. So don't be alarmed if you don't see the option to be able to send your transcript. That's perfectly okay. Anything else, Bree, you wanted to add to that, just to make sure?
No, that was a great
Okay,
reminder. Thank you.
cool. All right. Okay. All right, Patty,
Sweet.
turn it over to
Hi.
you now.
And if I can, before I start, and I'm just keeping my eyes too on the Q&A, a question came in. Do you put the students like their county email address or for the student or their personal email address? You want to answer that?
I'll go ahead and answer that. We prefer, and I think Bree would share this too, that you use your personal email account because just think about it. As you graduate from your high school, soon thereafter, you're no longer going to have access to that email. And typically the email address you put on your application is the account in which colleges will begin to communicate with you. Some of you will have to create your own portal pages at that institution, and that's how they're going to begin the communications. But nonetheless, the main thing is to know that after you graduate, you won't have access to your school email. So now is the time to go ahead and update your CFNC account, your CFNC profile on your personal dashboard to make sure all pieces of data are correct. And certainly one of those pieces would be your email address. Great question.
Sweet. Thank you. All right. I have shared. Can you all see my screen all right?
Yes, it looks good, Patty.
Okay. And I'm going to hide the things. All right, now while I'm sharing my screen, I can't see the panelists, so feel free to stop me at any point as needed. But I'll be happy to answer questions at the end as well. And so as Amy has shared, I am Patti Harris, the director of Gear Up North Carolina. And Gear Up is a federally funded college access grant. It is a state service, and Gear Up stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs. And so one of the awesome initiatives that Gear Up has had the opportunity to support is this pilot program, NC College Connect. And so I'm super excited to share with you about this program. And as you may have heard a little bit about it already, or some students have already started to receive their letters in the mail. I just look forward to talking about this with you all as for those who are getting ready to apply, prep for next week. So there we go. So NC College Connect is, as I mentioned, is a pilot program aimed at increasing access to higher ed by simplifying the application process. And here on this slide, you can see the institutions that are participating. And so it is important to note, again, this is a pilot that NC College Connect does not apply to all institutions in our state. But it does include these 6 institutions, 4-year public institutions, and a student's community college. I will mention and note here that when a student receives, and actually this will come up a little bit later on, the community college piece, but I just want to note that students will receive or are eligible to apply to only to their local community college. So for example, if a student lives in Wake County and they are thinking about Durham County because it's not too far, as in addition to Wake County, their portal would only allow them to apply to Wake County because that is the community college in their county, and that admits majority of the students from that county. So that's why only one letter is listed, but we still, of course, encourage students to apply to any community college or institution that fits their needs. So NC College Connect is for North Carolina public high school students with a weighted GPA of 2.8 and above. Now, this eligibility was determined at the end of the student's junior year, and we wanted to acknowledge and recognize the hard work that students have put in. And I want to acknowledge and make sure that students are aware that in addition to having that 2.8 weighted GPA, they still need to maintain that or increase it throughout this current year, in addition to meeting and graduating high school or meeting those minimum UNC system requirements. So we don't want students to think that they're eligible and they can just slack off. That is not the case. We still want them to maintain that momentum and finish their senior year strong. Now, how will students know? So on my screen, and as you can see on the presentation, these letters, we've been mailing out letters to students' doorsteps. And so actually, as of the 10th of October, letters were being sent out first class via the United States Postal Service. And as I've noted, students are already beginning to receive their letters. So we encourage you also to feel free to share a picture of you with your letter to your social media, and feel free to hashtag NC College Connect. And so in addition to those letters, students will also receive a postcard reminder next month. So as long as it is noted, students can apply through the NC College Connect portal. There is no deadline, but we wanted to utilize this time frame thinking about College Application Week as a way to kick off, and I'll talk a little bit more about why that's important. And so how will students will apply? So similar to College Application Week, there is a similar but separate portal for students to apply. So students will need to scan the QR code on their letter. Your school or your counselor may also have a flyer that is hung up in your counseling or your student services center or your counseling center or somewhere around your school that has that QR code. And so we encourage students to scan that QR code, or you can still visit nccollegeconnect.org where they can visit the application portal specifically for NC College Connect. And then once there, you will use your CFNC login or account information. And if you do not have that yet, you can go ahead and create an account and still be able to access that information. To create an account, it'll ask you information such as your student ID number to be able to match you to ensure that your eligibility is noted and shows up. But otherwise, as long as a student has their student ID number on their account information, it will match and you will gain access to see if you are eligible. Once in, and these are screenshots of what the portal looked like, as you can see, it does look quite similar to the screenshots that Bree just shared, because we are in this work and partnering with CFNC. But there you will see the list of colleges that are participating, including that individual community college that was noted on the letter. And then there is the simple application. So one of the cool things about this process is that when I say simple, I mean simple. It pretty much asks, and not sure if you can see, but those 3 questions there. So outside of the student's name and their email address, we ask, what is the intended start term and year? What is the intended major? And what is your personal email? What I mentioned that. And so those are the short questions to this simple application, and that's it. Students will, if they need to come back, they can save and come back to it and finish it. But we believe in less than 5 minutes, a student can sit down, submit this simple application, and then they are done. And so once you, well, excuse me, you hit submit there, but it will take you to another page asking about or mentioning paying for the application. Now, the application does include fees that range from $30 to $75 depending on the institution. Of course, our community college applications are free, and they will still accept College Board or ACT fee waivers. But as we are in preparation for College Application Week, most of those application fees, if not all of them, depending on where one lives, will be waived. So we are encouraging students to wait until the 21st and College Application Week opens to submit these applications to the participating institutions. That way they can avoid, the additional cost of the application fee. Now, this is breaking news. A press release came out just today. This is why this slide looks a little bit bland. I didn't have time to juice it up. But given the impact of Hurricane Helene on our community and our students, our families, and our schools out west, the UNC system has waived fees, and these participating institutions have waived fees for all students from the 39 disaster declared counties and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. And I have a list of who those counties are. But this is now a public press release, and the institutions that have waived fees for all students from those 39 disaster declared counties are App State, NC State, UNC Chapel Hill, UNC Charlotte, UNC Greensboro, and UNC Wilmington. This is during College Application Week. So next week, these institutions are waiving their fees specifically for students from these disaster declared counties. One institution I just want to make note of in particular, for example, is UNCG. UNCG is only waiving their application fees during College Application Week for students from those 39 disaster declared counties. If, for example, you happen to live in the Triangle area, you would still show up as having to pay a fee to apply to UNC Greensboro during College Application Week, unless you have a fee waiver from like a College Board or an ACT fee waiver. So that's just a distinction I wanted to note. And on the bottom of this slide, here are the disaster declared counties. If more counties, we encourage you, to also follow up with CFNC or the institution that you are applying to if this list expands, you can definitely follow up with the institution as well. But I also wanted to note that the 3 institutions listed above will be waiving their fees after College Application Week for students from the disaster declared counties. So this is a little bit separate from NC College Connect, but I would be remiss if I did not share this news with those of you on this call. And Amy, I can share the press release with you as well afterward if you would like to send that out to the attendees to this call.
Sure, that'd be great.
Great. All right, back to NC College Connect. So what's next? Students will be contacted by their colleges and universities where they submitted the simple application with any additional steps required. And so as you can see from that simple application, there is still information that institutions may need that has not been included. And some of that may be maybe the student is interested in or may qualify a particular scholarship that is at that institution. So some institutions will be sending a supplemental form for students to complete to make sure that students are not left out. So by submitting a NC College Connect application, students are not excluded from any sort of scholarships or merit aid consideration. They are still included in that in that load of students, even if they, with the students that submitted the traditional application. Just wanted to note that. And then for some of our community colleges, because some of the requirements by the federal government of information that they have to submit, they also may be sending students a supplemental form to get additional information. So I wanted to note that, and just to make that clear, that students will probably be contacted requesting some additional information from the institutions, which is why it is very important, as Amy has noted, that students include their personal email instead of that student email, to make sure that they're not missing any communications from the institutions. And then just to note, I want to remind everyone, remember that during college application week, most of those fees are waived. So I encourage students to submit their applications next week. Now, if a student if you do not receive a letter in the mail, or you received it, but you can't find it, your school should have, or not should, but does have a list of eligible students. So we encourage students to still check with your school counselor or your college advisor to make sure that you can find out if you're eligible. Students are still encouraged to explore their financial aid options on CFNC, so including the Next NC Scholarship, local scholarships, and other sources of federal and state aid. As Amy has mentioned, there's the college search on CFNC's website, and there's also a way to search scholarships on CFNC's website. So we know that is part of the process. We know that the FAFSA will open or is expected to open in December. So we encourage students that while you are there, continue to include that as you're considering your options. And then lastly, while students may qualify for the simple application process for those participating colleges and universities, we still encourage you to apply to any North Carolina college or university, whether that is our other UNC system universities, our private colleges and universities, and of course, those community colleges that are not listed on the student's letter or in their portal, because we want to make sure that students are thinking about what institutions best meet their needs, interests, and priorities. That is certainly at the forefront. So we encourage students to still consider all their options, especially during college application week. And on this slide is QR code to learn more. It will take you to the NC College Connect website, where you can find out additional information. Again, if you have questions, we encourage you to ask your school counselor. Amy is here on this call. I will be here to answer questions as well. But your school is a great place to answer some specific questions too. And that is all I have. So I'm going to stop sharing if I can. There we go. There we go.
All
I think I
right.
figured it out.
Thank you, Patti, and thank you, Bree. So let's just reiterate, Patti, if we
Sure.
can, that those 6 colleges are waiving the application fees next week, with the exception of UNC Greensboro, only waiving for the counties affected, the
Yes,
FEMA designated county.
exactly.
Right. Okay. So that's UNC Greensboro waiving next week only for those designated
Mhm.
counties that you saw on the slide that Patti shared.
Correct.
Um, and so let's go back to talk about just really briefly what we have shared already in preparation for next week, and part of the information that Bree shared, to make sure your CFNC profile is updated. So when you log in to your
Mhm.
CFNC account, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see your dashboard. And then you'll see the multiple tabs. Click on the My Profile and go through all of it to make sure your name is correct, your NC student number, if you're a public high school student, is listed. Your email address is your personal email. And certainly make sure that you're noted as a high school student. For example, this came up last week, Bree. I thought it was interesting to share this, that many students created their CFNC accounts when they were middle school students.
Mhm.
So they still have their account attached as a middle school student, though they may have already updated their high school. So it's important that you make sure it says high school student and indeed you're attached to your current high school. Otherwise, the information will be invalid. It will not match with your Power School or Infinite Campus systems that you're currently using in the state of North Carolina, at a public school, that is. So you've had some good questions in the chat, and I hope you've been able to see the answers to those as I submitted them. They're great questions, very common questions we get. Bree and Patty, are there any other things to share that we can think of tonight, or as questions come in, we can certainly address those too.
Sure. Not that I can think of, but I'm just super excited for what is to come next
Mhm.
week. I'm just thinking about when you mentioned that as a middle school student, I myself have have had the same login to my CFNC account since middle school, literally,
Mhm.
and am now using it for 529 for my boys. And so I'm just super excited for the great work and the opportunities that exist for these students and for you all on this call. And hey, the opportunities are endless. Please make sure that you are visiting and using CFNC and all the great information that's out there as you are applying to those institutions. Don't just go in there blindly just because something, is free. Of course, maximize the opportunities out there, but take a look. Make sure you're knowing about those campuses. So I wish everyone the best of luck next week as you make those decisions.
That's awesome. Thank you, Patty. And let's see. The question in the chat currently is, where can we find this recording? We do plan to post all of our week's sessions and the recordings to our YouTube channel on CFNC. So if you wish to go out, go ahead and make that one of your favorite sites that you visit there on the CFNC YouTube, and you should see a playlist listed there of our recordings from session 1, session 2, session 3. We're not having any webinar sessions next week because it's going to be a busy, busy week. But the final week of this month, we're going to have our webinar about how to pay for college. And we have a guest speaker that's coming on that's a previous financial aid representative that used to work at UNC Wilmington and also at Cape Fear Community College, which is located in Wilmington. He's now retired. He's got a ton of experience and knowledge about the financial aid process. So he's going to share some insight of how we can all prepare students when the FAFSA does roll out. And we're going to continue to keep our fingers crossed that it's going to be December 1st. So you'll learn more information about that in the final session. And let's see if we have other chat questions. Okay. Let's see. Um, I'll start with this one now. I accidentally made two CFNC accounts, one with an old email and one with a new. Is it okay to delete the old one and continue to use the new one? I have used both of them to send transcripts. Bree, do you want to answer this question, or I'll be glad to?
You can go ahead on that one.
Okay. Okay. Well, how we have advised students in the past, because you have already taken action using both accounts, there's not a way that you can technically delete an account, a CFNC account. Only our IT team could do that, and that's a very rare occasion that we would have to ask our IT team to delete a CFNC account. So I would, from here on out, choose one of the accounts, maybe it's going to be the new one, to send any of your college applications and do any of your remaining activities like sending more transcripts and your RDS. So if you haven't done RDS yet, pick just the one account and keep a login, keep a note of your login for that old account that you've already sent a transcript. So try to move to one account and put all activity in the future on the one account, okay, if that makes sense. And let's see. We got one more question here. I went to visit a college this week that doesn't let you complete their application on CFNC, but says they are participating in College Application Week. How will the application fees be waived in that case? Bree, do you want to take that? It could be a linked campus. I'm wondering if that's the case.
Yes, it could be. So yes, we do have quite a few institutions that don't have an application that you can complete all of the fields and all of that and submit it on our system. However, they do tell us that they're waiving fees. They give us the criteria if there are any. They tell us the instructions they'd like us to send to students. They give us the right the right URL to make sure that we're sending students to the right application. And then when you're starting on cfnc.org, you get all of that information and you already get queued up for the transcript. So you can get that reminder to request that. Excellent question.
Great. Thank you, Bree. Any other questions tonight? Okay. Well, you're certainly welcome as questions come up. Maybe reach out to your school counselors. If it be that you need to contact our CFNC call center, also the contact information that Bree shared with you on our website, feel welcome to do that for the remainder of this week, which we've got another day, or the start of next week. And college application week kicks off Monday at 7:30 in the morning. So you will have the opportunity, and maybe many of your schools have already planned times during certain days that you could go to a media center or in the classroom to do your application. So your school counselors, your college advisors at your schools, if you have them, are great resources to get the process started. So happy applying to college. We're excited about this. Patti and Bree, thank you for the wonderful information you shared. It was absolutely perfect. And we all look forward to the journeys our students are going to begin to take with the start of the process of applying to college. So thank you all for attending tonight, and I hope you have a great evening. Bye.